Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it. Houston, welcome to another episode of the Bayou City Soccer Podcast, man. One of the last ones of the 2024 season year. Kind of flew by, man. But today should be a pretty good one, probably a lengthy one. Here with a full house that includes Cristian Putalia's brother. How you doing?
¿Qué pasó? How's it going? Good, man. I'm doing great. Happy to see you guys again, man. It's been a minute.
It has definitely been a minute. Obviously, joining us as well, we have Dustin Richardson, the one and only. What's up, Jefe?
The one and only.
I'm glad to be back. I hopefully have a much better internet connection this time, and I'm not like 3 seconds behind what you guys are saying. So, yeah, thanks for having me back. I feel like this is a good way to wrap things up with the dynamic foursome we have here.
Yeah, no kidding. And you know what? So far, you sound crisp. So hopefully that stays the same. And what's it called? Joey is next. I was gonna say last, but anyways, Joey Stats. Here you go, buddy. How you doing?
What's up, gentlemen? How y'all doing?
Not too bad. Hey, we decided to take. It's already been a month, man, since the Dynamo were eliminated. Basically, I think we did one last recording and call it. It has been fantastic. Chris, I've seen that you've been reading. I've been catching up on so many Netflix series. I know Dustin's probably out and about, taking Harper everywhere she needs to go. And Joey, your band looks like it's taking off, man. So this is a break worth taking, man. Yeah, I guess, Joey, what's the name of your band so people can start following you, dude?
Vision of Fire.
That's, dude.
I'm looking it up now.
Yeah, for real. We got to start following it, get some music coming soon. But Dustin, what about you, man? How's your little ones taking advantage of, being the Uber rider?
Yeah, no, it's weird, like not having soccer games or professional soccer games on the weekend. My oldest is still playing soccer. We have a tournament this weekend, so that'll be more fun times to go. But yeah, just doing dad stuff now instead of Bayou City stuff. But here we are, off season. It's about to get super busy.
Yeah, it was definitely like a month. What's it called? A perfect month to take off, just because obviously you had Thanksgiving in between. And personally, I felt a little lost, so I'm kind of glad to be back on Mondays, even though we probably won't record every single week, Christian, like we've been doing. But how have you been, Chris? I know you've been talking to a ghost on the side right there.
Yeah, I got a couple ghosts over here trying to be. They want to go to bed and they want me to go tuck them in, and it's just there's too many things going on, guys. No, but good, man. I don't know what the question was, but I've been doing good.
That's all we need to hear, man. But hey, before we get fully started into this episode, obviously you guys probably keep up with BayouCitySoccer.net and our social medias, and you guys probably saw that, we lost one of our good friends, Billy Mears, about a month or so ago, and it was definitely of shock for everyone here in the group. This sort of type of news that as you get older, it seems like we get used to in a way of losing people, but super, disheartened to know that he's no longer here. He was definitely a guy that brought a lot of energy, probably one of the funniest dudes I've met, just the type of puns and all kinds of jokes that he will tell. And obviously he was one of the very first guys to take pictures for us, Dustin. So I'll open it to see if you guys have any stories or anything that you guys want to say about Billy. And then we'll move on after that, Dustin.
Yeah, like you said, I think Billy was like one of the first people I think this was when we were still doing Dynamo Theory. He was like just wanting to like get involved. He was like, "Can I just take pictures for you guys?" And we were like, "Yeah, for sure, man." And he was, like you said, I think one of the most positive people probably that I knew, especially about like Houston sports. I'll always remember his I think it was Vinny's. Is Vinny's the pizza place over there by the stadium? That was like his spot because it was
Expedition. I remember that. You're right.
Yeah, it was like his good luck spot. And then this will only be funny to us, but his eggplant emojis that he used to put in our chat. So yes, rest in peace, Billy. You'll be missed, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. And I know obviously Joey didn't get to interact with him like personally, but
I met him once.
We met up once, and then like the group chat, man, always blowing up with Southampton news and the eggplant emojis.
And this one trying to convince me that Kyle Walker-Peters was the best fullback in the Premier League.
Yeah, for sure, man. We love it. Chris, you want to add anything on his memory?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, you guys mentioned like he was one of those guys that maybe he didn't talk every day on the chat, or maybe he wasn't as active as he wanted to because he was always, doing something outside, work or, just a bunch of other stuff, right? He, either getting injured playing soccer or, he was always talking about how his indoor career was going, but he would like go play one time, come back out with an injury and then wait 2 months, go back, get injured again. And that was just his life, right? Just getting injured in these soccer games that he was going to. But
yeah, we were looking forward for him to be the goalkeeper for the mini game. And the time that it happened, he was hurt. You're right.
Yeah. He was super excited. Whenever that, even, we were like, all right, we're going to have to put together something so you can get that out of your system and be our goalkeeper type thing. But no, I mean, other than that, I mean, personally, I did have some conversation with him like outside, and we would talk about life stuff. I was supposed to go with him to a shooting range. He was gonna show me everything and everything and anything about guns, as we would put it. And no, he was just a really nice guy. He was always looking out for you and the kids. He would ask me about the kids here and there. Just cuz, and he was always involved with what we were doing. And for you guys mentioned it, but he was always the first one to invite people in and to kind of bring them under the wing, even if he didn't even know what he was doing. Even his photography career, there were other guys that had more experience than him, but he was willing to like teach him whatever he knew. He even he was trying to teach me how to take pictures. He took Rodrigo a couple of times into the field, but he was always there, willing to like teach people and help people. So, he for sure will be missed.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. I just to add on that, I love the fact that he just took personal like anything that had to do the photography stuff, like you mentioned, as like he would tell people. I went down there a couple of times and be like, "Hey, this was great," and then this was awful when Apple TV took over. Like he was the one telling you everything that kind of happened through the transition of I guess the ownership of who's showing the games. But yeah, man, I mean, there's no other words to say that we are gonna miss him. And if you guys check out the articles that we've done, it more or less we want his memory to continue, and we'll keep those Billy Muir awards happening every year that we can. So that's kind of where we want to end that conversation. Again, we didn't want to bring everybody down knowing that we had a big group tonight, and we have a lot to talk about, guys, because we have missed quite a few. But Chris, if you're able and you're willing to let people know how they can connect with us, let us know, man.
Yeah. Like always, guys, BayouCitySoccer.net. That's the website. You can check it out. That's where you're going to see all the links to everything. X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and now on Blue Sky. So if you're one of those new, cool people, go get on that news. What's it called? Blue Sky? New Sky? I'm still learning it, but go check it out. Bayou City Soccer. And that's where you're going to see everything. New platform, so you're gonna get more stuff over there. So go check it out. Everything will be posted on everything as we have been doing. Go check out all the reviews that we've been doing, all those report cards. Go see if you like them. If you don't, let us know why not. If you agree, let us know why you agree as well. And yeah, so check it out. BayouCitySoccer.net is the website. Ugly Guppy, also go check those guys out. Great help for us and a great partner in 2024 for us.
It I thought Blue Sky was a vodka. That's how bad this, yeah. That's all I could think of. As a kid, I remember my dad going and getting, right? And always having some kind of bottle that said Sky on it. So Blue Sky made a lot of sense to me. But guys, again, we have a ton of topics to hit on. Before we get even more serious with the team, I asked you guys, with the spirit of the holidays coming, and I know that most of you or everybody in here celebrates Christmas at least. So even if you don't, I mean, those Christmas type of holiday movies are what's happening right now. So I did an alphabetical order. So of course, Chris, you go first, and you mentioned the fact that your favorite movie growing up. So we kind of based it right because we all have kids too, except for Joey. And Joey is the kid still in a way compared to us. So, you picked I think Home Alone, didn't you? Yep, Home Alone.
Home Alone. Do you want to know why?
Yeah, just tell us why.
Okay,
or what's your favorite part?
It's just because in Argentina we have our Christmases are in summer, so we're like wearing shorts, we're outside like sweating and stuff. Like mostly dinner, like with the family, is literally in your front yard or backyard, wherever there's room. So when you look at these movies and they have snow in them, you're like, what? Like as a child, you don't comprehend a Christmas with snow, right? So it's one of those things that you just kind of dream about, like, oh man, it would be cool to like have snow. And then the cool thing of like, oh, what if an intruder comes home? Like what would I do? And then you just start thinking about what traps you could play in your house, or what stuff you could do. And I don't know. I think as a kid, is one of those fun things that you fantasize about. Being fun.
Whenever I started dating my wife, pretty much everything we watched, because they didn't have Netflix and they had a Blu-ray disc. Every single time I felt that I went, we watched Home Alone 2. So it's like I know Home Alone 2 by heart because we watched it so many times. But I recently showed them that on Netflix, there's a documentary called The Movie That Made Us. I don't know if you guys watched them. But it's really cool because they do like how they filmed it, and obviously like from like when they started getting actors and stuff like that. So I recommend it, especially the Home Alone one for sure, Chris. But Dustin, you're up next, man. Tell us about why this is your favorite.
Yeah. So Christmas Vacation is probably like, oh man, 70s or 80s. I don't even know. I was gonna look it up, but yeah, like that was my dad's favorite movie, and so anytime it was on, it always used to come on TV. You know how they would like just play Christmas movies back in the day, and anytime Christmas Vacation was on, we would watch it. And it was Chevy Chase and the dude from Big Bang Theory, he was like a little kid in it, and yeah, it's still pretty funny to this day. It's one of those movies where you like look at some of the jokes and you're like, they probably can't say that stuff nowadays.
Right.
But yes, if you haven't seen Christmas Vacation.
I was trying to remember, like, I know I've seen this movie, but it literally hasn't. It's been a bit. And I'm trying to remember what was the funniest part on it. Because I do remember, like, the regular Vacation. My favorite part was when they leave the dog tied to the car. That's, like, the only thing I can think of. And I don't know which kind of
There's so many funny parts, yeah.
I've actually never seen that one.
Me neither. Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I gotta watch it. It's good. This one came out in '89. I just looked it up, but I'm curious if I'm assuming Vacation was first, right? I mean, it has to be.
Yeah, I think so.
They did Christmas.
I'm pretty sure like, could kids watch it? Is it very like adult humor?
It's PG-13, so
yeah, it has some cuss words and some adult humor, but it'll probably go over their head.
Yeah.
All right. And then we'll make it a family thing.
It'll be funny. Joey, you mentioned again. This is what I say. You're a kid in compared to us because you picked Guardians of the Galaxy at first. But you know what? I went with the original since you said the original.
All right.
So we picked Rudolph. So you went like this is throwback, man. This is what like the 40s, probably 50s. This movie came out.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Let's see. Let's look it up.
I'm looking it up right now.
Is that a clay animation?
Yeah. That was,
yeah. Why was this your one of your favorite movies, man? Growing up,
I mean, I kind of always grew up around it all the time. My mother loved them. She used to have, she still does have Like stuffed animals of them all over the house, Christmas time. Countless tree ornaments of them. It's just always been one of those classics in our house.
1964. That's when it was.
Stop motion.
Yeah, it's legit, man. I mean, there were so many other movies based out of just the stop motion alone. I'm gonna say I hated being called Rudolph growing up. I hated when people called me off the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and it was about this time of year that I got it. So I don't know why. I love the guy. He's a cute little thing with a red nose, man. But I hated being called that. And I guess to finish off, the one I gave was A Christmas Story. I watched this movie like I must have been like maybe 13 or 14, and this movie's probably also from the 80s. And it was one of those movies that now I think I need to rewatch it because it's been a minute, but there's way more humor than I probably get now than I did then. And my favorite scene is whenever he's like actually the little after this, he talks to Santa Claus and they push him down this slide, and he says like, "Oh, fudge," and then it goes, "But I didn't say fudge." Like, it's one of those, man. So it's just funny, like everything about this movie. It's fantastic, man. But yeah, I don't know about you guys, if you guys have any routine of watching or traditions of watching like a Christmas movie there's people that watch a Christmas movie every day. I don't think I could do that. Maybe once a week, possible. I've been trying to do that with my kids, but man, it is the holidays after all, man. The spirit of the holidays is here. But man, let's get right into the Houston Dash. We did get some breaking news this week, today, and some last week. So we'll start with that. And Dustin, you get the floor on this one with the new president of women's soccer.
Yes, they came into this offseason without a coach, without a GM, without a technical director, with only like 14 or 15 players under contract. So it was a quite large scale rebuild. So I think the first step in that was now a new, they are calling it, I think, president of women's soccer, I believe is her official title, Angela Hucles. But she is going to be the CSO, which I know a lot of MLS people use CSO. I hear Tom Bogert talk about CSOs a lot. That's basically the person in charge of soccer stuff, chief soccer officer. So she's going to be the one who's now in charge of hiring the new coach, hiring the new technical director, because Pablo Piñones Arce, I think this was the first time today too that it was official that he was out. I know Theo Lloyd Hughes, our friend, had reported that he was leaving, but I think this was the first time the Dash had actually mentioned it in the press release that he wasn't coming back. So yeah, she was at Angel City last year, that was her last job. She was there for 4 or 5 years. And yeah, she's got a big job on her hands now. It's a fresh slate, I guess you could say, kind of a fresh slate. So you have that going for you. But the press release said that she's going to start immediately, and that's good because the NWSL offseason basically starts tomorrow. So it's time to go. Christian?
I have a question. It says she brings nearly 4 decades of experience. How old is this lady? Because she looks pretty young. She started working at 12.
Looks like she's in her 40s.
I think she's in her, because she played for the U.S. for a long time. Like, she won 2 gold medals.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
She has like over 100 caps, but she's 46.
All right.
So they're going with the 4. They're going with the 4 decades of like 90s, Euros, 10s, 20s.
Okay.
I think.
Wait, you said that they mentioned Piñones not out. I'm looking at the email and I don't see it.
It's at the very bottom where they talked about Clark. It's the third to last paragraph. Euclid Mangano will take the lead on hiring the next head coach as well as the next technical director, as neither Ricky Clark nor Pablo Piñones Arce will return. for 2025 season.
Man, that's all they get. That's kind of crazy, huh?
I have another question. I don't know if we should talk about this. I don't know if we talked about it. I don't know if we want to bring it up or just move forward into the future. But I feel like we owe it to at least ask. What happened with Fran Alonso?
Ah, yeah, that's good. Joey, we'll let Joey talk about this.
I mean, we still don't know what happened with Fran Alonso. Baby.
Man, you were just all right.
He went to what was it, La Coruña?
He went to La Coruña. Had
he got killed.
The presser, and he basically. I mean, he did mention the fact that he couldn't really talk about it. Obviously, lawyers involved. It seemed like it was. I don't know. It's kind of interesting because he even though he didn't answer that question, at one point he mentioned how they didn't bring the players he wanted and there was some miscommunication, and that was basically it. I mean, I think he kind of said what he wasn't supposed to say in those words, and so it was nothing health related. Obviously, at the very initial time that he missed, that's what it was mentioned, that it was some kind of illness kind of keeping him away. Then that 1 week.
But then he said he wasn't sick. Like
exactly.
He said in the press conference, like it wasn't an illness or something. So
maybe he was sick of it.
Sick of Alex Singer.
Sick of something for sure. It's just interesting. I mean, we're hoping for the best for the Dash for sure, but transparency would be key. But again, even those two guys, Ricky Clark and Piñon, which we never really heard anything about. They're just. You get one sentence to say peace. Like
at least Ricky got a graphic to thanks.
True.
But Pablo came in like March. He was here not even 9 months, which is crazy. Like they made this big deal of, hey, the first technical director in Dash history. And we've seen on the Dynamo side, like Asher Mendelson is the same position. And for all accounts, he's been great, right? And we've gotten to talk to Asher, and Asher's awesome. So like I don't know exactly what he does day to day, but whatever he does is he does a good job at it. Piñones Arce, I don't know what he was doing, and if he was just sick of it too, or if they were like, you're not doing a good job at it. We finished in last place. It's time to get out of here.
They told Paulo Nagamura, hold my beer.
No kidding, but obviously Eric Oos has been the interim interim general manager.
Yeah, I wonder if
Sultan
about if he's gonna like stay around. I wonder if he.
Yeah, because he was mentioned obviously on this list as well of how he will. It says who will continue to manage player transactions as Angela transitions into her new role. So, yeah, maybe it is gonna be like a Pat and Asher type of combination, possibly.
Yeah.
Who knows? But so far he has been the guy, Eric, that is pulling the string behind it, and some of this offseason player moves that we've seen. They recently announced Kiki Van Staten and Avery Patterson to get contract extensions. Those are some good moves, right? We saw a lot of good things out of Avery Patterson, rookie. And Kiki, unfortunately for her, I think broke her foot or her knee. Major injury.
Broke her foot, like really early in the season.
And didn't see much action. But and then they added a free agent in Delaney Sheehan from New York, New Jersey, Gotten.
Joey's favorite.
Something like that.
I just call him
New York, New Jersey.
Northeastern Gotham.
I will say, though, their logo is pretty badass. I will say the way that they did the N and the Y and the J, it looks pretty legit.
Gotham's a cool name, too.
And then they did announce the departure of Ellen Rubinson, which I did not look up how long her contract was. So did you have that or remember?
Another year.
Another year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I did her report card.
Oh yeah, and Eric, talking about Eric doing these deals, he also, like, before the season ended, they extended Jane Campbell, Natalie Jacobs, Paige Nielsen,
Ryan too, didn't they?
Barb. No, I think Ryan still has. I think Ryan got extended last year.
They also signed the young girl.
Yeah, Zoe Matthews. Yeah. Eric's been, he's been busy. He seems like you want to kind of keep him around. He's he was with Orlando, so he like knows the league and he knows, what he's doing. It seems
I feel like Orlando won important titles recently. Maybe
Orlando Pride team. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, so those are some of the offseason player moves. I didn't find anything regarding the upcoming dates of importance. I'm assuming there's no more draft, but
yeah, I had
free agency should start soon.
Yeah, so as I'm stalling here to look it up, it was on Blue Sky today, and Taylor Vincent, who is a writer for Spot Track, posted something about it, and here it is. So tomorrow is the end of season decision sheets, basically like MLS does with the options. Teams have to announce them by 5:00 our time.
There you go.
And then Wednesday, waiver wires. So you can start grabbing people off waivers. Friday, the trade window opens, and then it closes like a week later, and then opens again. They like close it over the holidays, I guess, so people don't have to work, like on Christmas trying to sign players. But so starting tomorrow, it seems like we're going to start getting some more Dash news on who's not coming back.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, obviously, there's rumors of Andressa not being back, which that one was kind of given, I believe. Backman is one that is like, she is under contract, but do they want to bring her back?
God, she could go. Her and Andressa, get out of here.
I'll always remember interviewing Ramona when she first got here. I got to interview her, and I asked her, like, because she was coming from PSG, like one of the biggest clubs in the world, and she's played it. I think she played at Chelsea, like all the big clubs, right? And I asked her, like, why the Dash? Like, why did you want to come here? And she's like, well, I'm 33, and they're the only team that offered me a 3-year contract.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, well, at least she's honest.
That's one way to put it, man. And I mean, if that's her mentality, she's gonna want to be here the 3 years, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
her wife's pregnant though, so we'll see how that keeps her away from the team at some point.
Joey, Dustin, Chris, anything other you guys can think of?
Just like Joey's.
Hey, sometimes you gotta go to HR.
Here's a way too early question, or I guess a question that probably it will have no relevance tomorrow, but way too early predictions. What do you guys think about next year? Do you think they do better? They stay the same? You can't do any worse.
You can say, I don't know. I feel like they have to do better. There's no way to do worse. And
there's not a new team, is there, coming into the league?
Not this year.
The boss teams this year, so
the Boss Nation is next year.
The Balls
team.
So the Balls team.
The Balls team comes. Okay, so
they're already better than the Dash. They don't even exist yet.
They hired a guy from Barcelona, so yeah.
There you go.
Winners win. I'm gonna say they go up. If we're looking at the standings, I'll say they go up to like 13. Just like
from 14 to 13.
That's terrible.
Hey, it's an improvement.
I'll be bold. I'll say they finished 12th.
I think all honesty, right? We like you said, they can't be worse, and I mean they can't really. They won 5 games this year, but I mean Avery Patterson looks to be a really good player, and she's like 21. Barb is like 21 and looks to becoming a very good player now. We kind of saw her take some steps this year.
Zoe Matthews is the one that intrigues me the most.
Zoe looks to have a ton of upside. She's 17 and she looks like she's a seasoned professional.
Yeah.
And Sheehan, who they just signed, I think is 25 or 26. And then their back line they have Tarsiani, who's one of the best players in the world. We're seeing her get all these nominations for awards and stuff. Paige, Jane Campbell. So I mean, they have a.
You're going to show that here, though,
right?
All right. Here's my question to you. I guess to finish off, coaching, right? Obviously, coaching is still one that it needs to be. They just bring in somebody from Angel City. Angel City just said goodbye to their coach. Could she be the one taking over at this point? Maybe making Paige Nielsen someone that she already knows, like more of a leader. And
Becky Tweed got fired, sacked, let go by Angel City today. Who was with Hugh at Angel City. she was the interim last year, got them to the playoffs for the first time in their history, kind of like the Dash. And then they had a bad season this year, a lot of injuries and stuff, and she got fired. So, I mean, it would make a lot of sense, right? Someone that she knows. The other thing on Huclus I thought would be interesting, and you mentioned Paige, but she's the one that traded Paige, and Paige was not very happy about it, if we remember. She has since, to Paige's credit, she's true professional, and she's even signed an extension here. She seems to love Houston now, so she adapted very well. But I noticed that she liked the Dash's Instagram post of them hiring Angela, so hopefully they've kissed and made up kind of thing.
This would be the first actual. Well, if let's just say they hire this lady from Angel City, it would be the first female coach for the Dash, like without counting interim coaches, basically. Right?
Vera Paul they had a coach in their second or third season who was a woman.
But it's definitely in a while. It's
been a while because Sarah was an interim, but other than that, it was Clarkson, Amoros, Lady,
Ricky,
Fran Alonso. Yeah, gosh,
nobody lasted.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But you know what? Let's move away from full-on grievance here, I guess, and go into the Houston Dynamo, which, I mean, some people still see it as a sad thing, man. The Dynamo suck, man. They couldn't get past the first round of the playoffs, could not get any titles, burn the whole thing down. That's just some of the things you see. Pat Onstad out, Finn Olsen out, everybody out type of thing. But, in all honesty, not necessarily having to do a full review of the team, but it was a good season. Overall, the team did better. They positioned themselves well defensively, got a ton of clean sheets, obviously a ton of road wins. They did lose a lot of games at home they should have won. But overall, I think you see it in good light. I think it's easy for people to just completely forget the amount of time that it was completely the opposite, right? It was just really suffering. I think whenever I started, I guess Dynamo Theory with you guys, I mean, we were like always fighting see who got the wooden spoon, it seemed like, with Colorado. And now, Colorado's looking scary, at least for Joey, what he's thinking, as well as the Dynamo, right? So, yeah, I Joey, just give, I guess, your just thoughts on the season, real quick, and maybe your expectations for 2025 before we move on to what's happening.
I mean, we've talked about this a pretty good amount. It was a good season. It wasn't a special season. They broke their regular season points record. They broke their road game points record.
Yep.
And then they went in when they were one and done in the playoffs. So, I mean, it's a good season. And you can't break points records and stuff and say it was a bad season. It's especially given the last decade of the club, to finish in the playoffs 2 years in a row is a huge positive.
I think the worst thing is, we're gonna start with some of the offseason moves. Here they are. Some of the departures. Sorry, Steve Clark, Hector Herrera. If Steve Clark would have saved a penalty, no, I'm kidding. I'm not gonna start that.
It's true though. It's true though. You say that, but it's very true.
Yeah. So let me list it off, and Chris, we'll get your thoughts on some of those guys leaving. Xavier Valdez, Steve Clark, Brad Smith, Daniel Steres, Date Schmidt, John Gregus, Hector Herrera, the big one, obviously, Junior Moreno, Leite Flessing, Usman Silla, and Mackenzie Gaines are the guys that ended up leaving. They don't have a contract, and so on. So, Chris, obviously, I highlighted Steve Clark and Hector Herrera because they were like main starters for the team the last 3 years or so during this whole culture shift of, getting that winning mentality or winning culture. But what are your thoughts on maybe those two guys leaving, or if you just want to pick on on Steve Clark since you were already ranting on him. Go for it, man.
I won't pick on him. I won't pick on him because I mean it's pretty. I mean, I don't think it's obvious that I don't think he got not fired, but I don't think he got renewed just because of the penalty kicks. I mean, the guy was one of the best goalkeepers in the league, period. And there's no way to deny that, right? The numbers say that, and if you're not a numbers person like I am, per se, right? You can still see it that the guy was a great shot blocker. There were some games that he was the one that kind of kept the team in the game, and that's just the reality of it. Of course, the penalty could have been completely, a different thing, but it is what it is, right? You just kind of have to. You just kind of have to live with it, right? They weren't gonna take him out to put in Tarbo because they could have, but I don't know if Tarbo could have done a better job, but it is what it is. But also you were talking about the whole mentality and going into having a winning mentality, but then also something that we heard throughout the season from Pat and Asher was about getting younger, right? So the first name that we have on the list is Xavier Valdez, which we thought, maybe was one of those guys that eventually might break into the first team or at least be a secondary goalkeeper in a way, because he's so young and, there's potential, there's talent and all these things. So kind of seeing him go, it makes you wonder okay, so what is the plan here, right? Is Tarbo going to be the starter, or is he going to get, stay as a secondary and we're going to go for a better, younger goalkeeper? And just kind of looking at that, the two that are highlighted, Steve Clark and, Hector Herrera, are the two oldest guys in the team. So if they're going to look younger, if they're looking for guys that are going to be here for longer, because even Steve Clark, you don't know how long he was going to stay. Maybe another year, maybe pushing 2. But, I think a year, a lot of people would have been, okay, well, this guy's getting a little bit older, even though he was still good at his job. So there's no denying of that. But yeah, I don't think a PK shootout was the decision or was the factor that kind of decided, just like I don't think the spitting of the referee's feet from Achacha was the deciding factor in that situation.
I think that pushed it over. Age. I think that pushed it over, though.
It also helped, I guess, it made it easier.
It wasn't purely the spitting. It was just the attitude throughout most of the, but I mean, the decision was already made for sure.
Exactly. Other than the attitude, I mean, the explanation that Pat gave was, DP player making the most money and he's only playing half the season. You can't have that. If you're going to have a DP and you're going to spend money on him, you want the guy to contribute year round type thing.
All right, Joey, I'll flip this on you. Obviously a part of Steve Clark and Achacha, who are starters, out of the guys that didn't get re-signed or find a new contract, who was maybe the most valuable on that list?
Obviously I have those two. Besides those two, I would say it was Daniel Steres.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just a model professional for the past 3 seasons now, stepping up at center back in the first season and then playing both right back and left back over the last 2 seasons under Ben Olsen. And he's been just nothing but solid every time he stepped on the field. I don't think he's had really a bad game ever since Ben Olsen's been here. He hasn't had incredible games, but he's had pretty just good, steady games. He's had a few game winners as well. I know he was our clutch player of the year this year. Just a great professional to have in the building. It's a shame to lose someone that brings both depth and leadership to the locker room.
He got cut. He got cut because he scored that goal against who was it?
The Galaxy.
Galaxy. So he could play Seattle. He fucked up.
They could have had RSL in the first round, and he ruined it.
Things could have been different. Things could have been a lot different.
Yeah. I guess you would agree. I think most of us will agree that is probably the other guy that is valuable here with Dan leaving.
We can talk about Blessing as well. I mean, he scored a few goals for us this year. I mean, his role in the team kind of got taken over by Kowalczyk later in the season.
Well,
Man, he scored some goals. He was pretty good this year.
I think he had like 5 goals. When we were doing his report card, I was like, dang, because he had that one stretch where I think it was like three games in a row or something he scored in.
Yeah.
And it was like, dang, Latif
Blessing. He scored like 2 against Seattle. He scored against Colorado. He scored that one from outside the box. He
that
scored
game they went up 2-0. But I think we've talked about this. He was making a lot of money, and it's one of those, like, and Joey said Kowalczyk is not making as much and is younger, and it plays that role.
Well, you guys mentioned Kowalczyk a couple of times, and obviously those are the contract extensions that had to get exercised. Andrew Tarville, we spoke, the only goalkeeper currently in the squad. Then you had Franco Escobar, which obviously a starter, Mikael starter, Sebastian Kowalczyk, and Gabe Siegel. So Gabe Siegel, man, killed it in Dynamo too. I mean, it's just a matter of time. I know, Joey, you asked Pat Onstad about Gabe Siegel, and he kind of giggled a little bit in the fact that we were trying to, talk to him about being on the first team. But I mean, obviously he's there for a reason, right? I mean, he's still a young guy; he can score. But I think obviously there's no surprise there on those guys. They got contract extensions. Maybe Tarbell the only one. If we would have thought maybe Steve was getting it in comparison,
I don't think it's that surprising.
I mean, I think you kind of had to keep one, right? Like I don't think you were going to go in with like a full new set of keepers. And I know we talked about this in our chat, and you guys, I think, kind of disagreed with me, but I like Escobar, but at the same time, like if he left, I would have been like, okay. But he plays a really good role in this team. I feel like he's as kind of like a center back, left back hybrid. Which I think he played in Atlanta in their system where they played like wing backs. So he's kind of built for that. And interesting, you were talking about Pat Onstad. We got to talk to him at the end of the season. Him talking about Mikael possibly, or I don't remember what exactly he said, but like if he's still here or something. Right. So it sounds like they're going to get offers for Mikael this winter. And I mean, a lot of people, he got votes for MLS Best 11 and MLS Defender of the Year. He's no longer a secret, I don't think. You have guys like Tom Bogert, Matt Doyle, like these MLS people like talking about how good Mikael is. So if someone comes with $3, $4, $5 million
make business, baby.
Ethan Bartlow time.
For sure. And Bartlow, I mean, in my personal opinion, Bartlow could be as good as Mikael.
Yeah,
he could start I think he can start in this league for sure.
He's a hustler.
It makes you think, because I feel that maybe Bartlow could also be a versatile piece, but I think Franco Escobar, we know that he's a versatile piece, and he could possibly, not right now, but eventually, because he's still younger, become like what Daniel Steres was. A guy that, because he can play right back, he can play left back, he can play center back. So it's a guy that if you're looking at the roster right now, and I put that on here, it's pretty slim, especially on the left back position, right? Obviously, just one goalkeeper with Tarville, as we continue to mention, and Bartlow, Dorsey, Sargent, Sviatchenko, Mikael, and Escobar. That's pretty slim in some aspects. Obviously, we know this is just the beginning. There's going to be signings, whether it be from MLS or from abroad or wherever. They have to sign them from the academy. If there's any player that can play, man, sign them up. But and then midfielders, MVP, Arthur. I mean, the dude, would he be the captain over Sviatchenko, you guys think, at this rate?
I think it'll be Eric.
Well,
yeah.
And then you have Coco Carrasquilla, which there's so many questions where he'll be playing. Will he be taking over Hector Herrera's spot? Will he remain as a right midfielder, wing, tuck in, whatever? Brooklyn Reyes, obviously a guy that people are gonna try to get more, I guess the fans, that is, more involved in playing. Sebastian Rodriguez, he'll be starting the homegrown, his contract in 2025. Jefferson Valverde, what the hell happened to him? Who knows? He hardly played for Dynamo too. They did sign him like a guaranteed contract, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, this may have been one of those Pat Onstad specials that he just
Them YouTube
shoots.
specials.
Yeah, exactly.
Shoot from the hip.
Yeah, from the YouTube.
I think like, and I wanted to say this on the show tonight, but like we've seen these Dynamo off seasons under Pat and with Ted Siegel especially. Well, the summer they spent record fee on Ponce. They've been making moves, right? They basically rebuilt the team from when they came over here, and we hear fans and stuff like they got to do something, and I'm always kind of like, calm down, people. But I think like honestly, this offseason, if they want to be like serious and like keep this team going, they've got to buy out Ferreira. Like you have to get that done, get the DP spot taken away. That way, then you only have one DP of Ponce. You can add up to 2 more, or you could do the 4 under 22s now, because now you can do 2 DPs, 4 under 22s, or 3 and 3. But if you like this is what real teams do. Like I know it's gonna hurt, and it's not my money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the money to do it, but
I'll take the money.
I mean, if Ted wants to kick it in, but like, and you're swallowing a lot of pride, right? Like this guy was supposed to be he was the record signing at that time, and he was supposed to be your number 9 and your big time thing. We saw Austin buy out Jossie's artist today, and not as he's an older guy that's not like what he was, but sometimes you just got to bite the bullet. And like if this Dynamo team, I feel like if they want to be like take that next step, they've got to get Frere off the books. It opens up so much.
And going back into like the whole Hector Herrera situation, obviously it's a different situation, right? Because they didn't have to buy out for Herrera. But if you have the mentality of like, this guy cannot give me a full season as a DP, and I'm paying him this money, just look right next to him. You have another DP that plays even less. And yeah, maybe he can score here and there, but obviously, like in a full consistent 34 matches season, he's gonna play less than half, and he's gonna come off the bench on those games. So, like, I'm with Dustin. Sometimes it's easier to say when you're not the one with the checkbook and it's not coming out of your Bank of America account, but sometimes you have to do it, and we'll see what they do, but hoping that they do. And like he says, you don't need 3 DPs. You need the 2 and the 2-4 situation, right? 2 DPs and 4 young guys. And I think they could do that. I mean, they get younger. They can get rid of, I don't want to call them dead weight, but you can get rid of players that are not up, fulfilling their potential.
Okay, so right now you have 2 DPs, right? You have Ferreira and you have Ponce, which, look, I did not put Ponce on the forwards. Good job, guys. No one saw it. I didn't see it till now.
He's a given.
But I don't think he goes on there.
Here.
But but okay, so if you have Ponce and Ferreira as your DPs, you can't buy out any of them, right? So don't you think that 3 DP system works best for what you have right now? I know, right? I think so too.
If you can't buy out Sebas, I'd go with the 3 DPs.
Yeah. If you can't buy out Sebas, I get what you're saying. Yeah, if you can't buy out Sebas, you're basically with the 1 DP, right? So you need a second one that is
we don't know. We don't know yet. I mean, the question is, people are gonna say we need goals, get another striker. Then you're gonna have 3 DP strikers. Makes no sense.
We just don't need a striker, though.
No, exactly. And whether I've continued to die on the hill of getting a right winger, but that's neither here or there. But whatever is the case, if you're gonna spend a 3rd DP, then I feel that for what you have, obviously Hector Herrera being gone and some of the pieces, I mean, you look at the midfield and it is a little scary, right? Because players like Arthur, who has been vital the last 2 years, he's been healthy. Something that towards the end of his time in Columbus, he was not healthy at all. He kept having that Same injury. I think it was like a groin injury or something. They just kept him away. I mean, it really only takes one injury to completely shift the entire, perspective. And again, you look at the midfielder and it makes you think. I mean, Arthur and Carrasquilla being your best players in the midfield, it's a little scary for sure. But Kovalchik is your last midfielder to mention, and then forward gave Siegel, Steven Anor, Amin Bassi, which they had as a forward on the thing, so I just left them on there. Lawrence Anali, Sebastian Ferreira, Nelson Quinones, Arsu, and Ponce.
Ponce, of course.
That's what you have right now, man. That's what you're working with. It's intriguing for sure. I mean,
you don't want to think of like, right, you don't want to think, oh, Arthur's hurt, we're screwed. Mm-hmm. But as a GM, as someone that's building a team, you have to think that, right? Like, if we missed Arthur for 2 months, what do we do? And right now it's like we play Reigns there, I guess.
Yeah. That's the only option. Yeah.
Hope for the best. So, and that's kind of what they did with Grey Goose this year, right? It was like, and Valverde even, it was like, we just need somebody because Arthur can't play every game. He does.
He did. He was what would we did the math. He was like only like 17 minutes short of playing every single minute.
Yeah.
Of the
but
season.
Like you said, you can't rely on him to just play every single minute. Like that's just it's not feasible. It's not realistic.
Yeah,
it doesn't have a plan.
Yeah, it is like I said, pretty scary, pretty crazy. I mean, the off season just started. It's gonna be okay, and to kind of go with that, it's what the calendar looks like right now. Obviously, today, December 9th, we had the half-day trade window. Put that poll out there on Instagram. People were thinking the Dynamo were gonna do something. We knew they weren't gonna do nothing. So it just makes it difficult, especially with the San Diego expansion draft happening here shortly. So San Diego FC, man, you think Hector Herrera lands there at this point? Maybe.
I don't know. He could. I think
they'd have to trade for his rights, right? Oh no, he'd be in a re-entry draft because
no, he's
his option.
I think he's a DP, so
DPs are in the re-entry draft.
Oh yeah, I guess you just have to, depending on what stage you pick them.
Yeah, so they'd have to. Well, if they don't, I mean, he's going to be a DP. I mean, I guess you could pick him in stage 2 to try to get him on a slightly lower contract. But
and if
he's going to be a DP,
if he's getting offers from Saudi, you're going to have to pay him as a DP.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. So that's the 11th, which is what, Thursday? Then free agency. Wednesday? I can't.
We should and we should get the list of the 12 players the Dynamo protect today when you're hearing this Tuesday the 10th. So we'll know which players the Dynamo could lose. I would think that the likelihood that they lose someone, because they only get to pick 5 players off 29 different teams. So the odds are low that they lose someone, but you never know. The St. Louis one, we saw the Tim Parker trade, so there's always like trades and things that can happen too.
We do not mention that name in this podcast anymore.
We don't talk about.
Yeah, you talk about the obviously the podcast. Yeah, of course, people listening, but we do have about 140 people watching us live. So, hi to everybody watching live. You know who you are. Feel free to comment. I know that we haven't really opened it up for comments and anything you guys want to add. But anyways, free agency at 12, then end of year waivers process begins. I don't understand that. Can someone tell me in English what that means? Because they're all on the same day, the free agency and the end of year waivers.
You have to be in the league so long to become a free agent. I think it's 5 years now. So if you have been in the league Steven Anor was a rookie and the Dynamo declined his thing, then they technically still have his rights and he would be in waivers. He wouldn't be a free agent. He can't just go wherever he wants. He has to
take them notes, Chris. Take them notes.
Yeah. I'll forget by next week. But.
Yeah, it's just how long you've been in the league. Basically, you have to earn free agency kind of thing. You have to play in the league long enough.
And going back, I guess, one day back with the expansion, I know if you guys haven't, Dustin did a really good article of kind of more or less what, the expectations are on who the Dynamo may be protecting. And I don't want you to necessarily talk about that article, but what do you think are the percentage of the San Diego actually picking a player?
Yeah, like I said,
1 out of 29 type of thing.
Yeah, I feel like they have when these lists come out, everyone's going to be like, "Ooh, so and so's on there. Ooh, so and so's available. Ooh, this guy's available." And I think the expansion draft, and we saw it with St. Louis, and we've seen it with the other teams recently. It's really a bargaining chip for them because they can get these players and say, "Oh, hey, team XYZ, you want this guy? You can give us $200,000 in cash or whatever," so they can kind of load their coffers for other things. So if they make 5 picks and 2 guys stay on their team, that's probably a likely thing, right? They take 2 guys and then they take 3 guys that they just are going to use because they know Minnesota wants them or whoever. So if there's something to be done with the Dynamo, I think we'll kind of hear about it by tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
No,
let me just say, but let's be real with ourselves. They are not touching Ferreira and his DP contract.
They should.
I love that line.
That was a good line.
That was a good line. Good stuff.
Just throw Ferreira and a Ferrari. Come on, that'd be cheaper than banging him out. I'm telling you.
Probably.
I use Ferrari.
Oh yeah, Ferrari.
I use Ferrari.
A pre-owned with a Carfax.
New to you, new to me type of car.
Right.
Yeah, and then obviously finish that calendar up here with the MLS Super Draft, which it seems like it's not going anywhere, guys, huh?
No more NWSL draft, which we didn't really talk about, but that's a very unique thing now, where college players basically can do what they want. But the MLS Super Draft, we got to talk to. I was on Don Garber's thing earlier last week.
Talk to the Don.
Me and the Don, just best friends. But he was asked specifically, like, "Hey, NWSL got rid of the draft. Do you think this is something that the MLS would do?" And he was pretty sure that that it still plays a role and that's not something they're going to get rid of. So yeah, it's you get the handful of guys that become players, and it's really all it is now. It's just another way to add talent if you care.
Yeah.
Teams like Philadelphia, Joey.
Yeah,
There you go. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, we could get into this.
I'll spin you up.
All right. Well, let's get into the Colorado Rapids today in general. They might have had one of the best half-day trade windows I've ever seen ever. So they start off the day. They get Chidozie Awazim from Cincinnati and Ian Murphy in the same trade. That's 2 starting MLS center backs for $1 million in jam. Pretty good deal for them, especially a team that was kind of lacking at center back last year. And then they go ahead and trade $350K allocation money for the next 3 years of the Philadelphia Union's draft picks. And here's why this is the stupidest thing ever for Philadelphia. Every year in the Super Draft, there is about 4 or 5 MLS starting caliber players that enter the league every single year. Sometimes there's more, sometimes there's been a few with less. But even the last few years, there's still been a few. Even specifically the Philadelphia Union have 2 very good examples of them. Andre Blake, who is he's one of the best goalkeepers in the history of the league, and Jack Elliott, who is he almost scored a hat trick in MLS Cup. So now they get rid of that. So then now they lost 10 coin flips on players that could be potential talent for them for $350K jam. You could get for $350K jam, that probably gets you 1 backup player on your squad in a trade with draft picks thrown into that.
A Thor Ulferson type
player,
huh?
Yeah. Like it makes absolutely no sense.
Colorado got Bombito in the draft 2 years ago?
They did. They absolutely did.
They sold him for what?
Look at Orlando. They got Daryl DK. They got Kyle Laren. They got
we get McGuire.
Yeah, McGuire. Yeah, they've got
so many good players, and DK got sold for big money to, was it West Brom? Larin to, was it Besiktas for Larin? Is that where he went originally?
I don't think this list is updated, but Philly has the 8th pick of the first round.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they have the 8th. So it's Colorado now.
Yeah. So yeah.
Let's see who, and
the Dynamo are in 18th for the
18th.
First round.
They'll trade it.
Where's the other?
They'll trade it or draft someone they'll never play.
Jack Harrison was.
Jack Harrison is a big draft pick. Griffin Dorsey is a top draft pick.
Leeds United legend.
There's so many good quality starting players.
Tim Parker was a draft pick.
That's right. There's just so many. So it makes absolutely no sense to trade all those picks for one season for like about a squad player's worth of general allocation money. And I've seen the argument be made that it's because it takes away competition for academy players, which is somewhat of an argument, but I think that's a really stupid argument. Because here's why. You take a draft player that could get that's just competition for the academy players. That's not taking opportunities away. It just lights another fire under their ass. Because you have, I don't know, you draft someone with your second round pick, a midfielder or whatever, and he kicks ass in preseason, presses all the coaches. That just lights another fire under another academy player. They want to be better than that guy. That's going to increase another level. So I don't know. The whole thing bugs me. The MLS Super Draft is awesome. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Yeah,
DK went to Barnsley first.
Oh, yeah, Barnsley first. You're right.
He went on loan to Barnsley. They had a $20 million option, and they were like, "No."
Is he still playing? Or is he still injured?
I think he's back.
Yeah,
back.
I mean, even looking at the last Super in 2023 Super Draft. Let's go a little earlier with the 2024 guy. Just in the first round, you have. You had Duncan McGuire, starter at Orlando. Moses Bombito, who's now a starter in Ligue 1. Patrick Aguimon, who is a starter at Charlotte.
I like
That's
that guy.
one draft.
Has the Philadelphia Union had? Then that's hard. Have they had a player from the draft kind of make something out of themselves in Union or not really?
They
Yeah,
took Blake. They took Blake with
Okay,
the first pick when they were. I think it was when they were expansion team.
So I guess they just think their academy is more valuable than these picks. I guess that's the only reasoning.
Andrew Privet was another good one last year too.
That was the year before. Last year's draft was Farrington, Spice.
Oh yeah, Farrington was great for Dallas. He's a starter for Dallas now.
Bright played for that Miami team.
That's right, he did. Who else was there last year?
Messi?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Imagine?
he started a lot of games.
Kojima,
He scored against the Dynamo. Yeah,
in the Champions Cup game for St. Louis.
Again, it's a lot early. It's a little different with the graphics now because they're drafting a little younger, so we'll probably have to see another year or two before some of these guys start implementing their place. But I mean, it's an exciting time to come up. I love the Super Draft. I mean, it's coming up in a few months.
Weeks.
A few weeks, that's right. I mean, you look 2022. Ben Bender, Roman Celentano, Kip Keller's played some minutes in MLS. Lucas Bartlett was a starter for DC United last year.
Like it's still good for
Patrick Schulte.
Like you're gonna find
squad players.
You're gonna find guys. I think like to Christian's
question.
I think to Christian's question, like the Union probably don't put any effort into college scouting, right? They just scout or they use a lot of their, and I think Rudy said this in our chat, but they put their money into like their kids, right? So they're to them, like they probably haven't even watched any college games this year, and this isn't the first time they've done this. They've just basically bailed on the draft, and I think it was Charles Bame or somebody from MLS that basically said, it's not great. Like it's not the NFL draft, right? Like American fans are like, oh, draft, we have the first pick, and you're gonna get this superstar, and you're gonna draft LeBron James or something. But that's not how MLS is, and you're gonna be lucky to find some guys, and hell, maybe the Dynamo will find a guy.
Yeah, even looking recently in like late rounds, Jasper Loffelson was a third round pick 2 years ago, and he was a high end starter for Salt Lake for 2 years. So it's
Tom Brady. No,
Tom
joke,
Brady's right.
joke.
Daniel Pereira for Austin. He's a high caliber starter for them. Ethan Bartlow for the Dynamo now.
Hey, look at him now.
Ethan Barlow was like top 3,
start.
wasn't he? Like he was like
I think
top
it was
5
his
at least.
Fifth or sixth.
Yeah.
He was pretty high up there. I mean, it's the draft. It
Well, we
provides
got that
especially-
one kid was it last year? The
Silla?
Heisman winner, yeah.
Still,
When
yeah.
it's gone, he's
But-
gone, bro.
But you know, hey,
R.I.P. You want to see the slide again?
hit or
He's on
miss, bro.
departure.
Hit or miss.
Paul Rothrock was a third round pick. He's a starter for
Yeah, he was trouble.
That guy
But
owns
technically,
the Seattle.
Seattle.
He's a homegrown, ain't he?
Yeah, I think he is for Seattle. Yeah, he was.
No,
I think
No, he was a draft
played-
pick.
he was a draft
He
pick
was
for
a draft pick?
Toronto.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
He's
there you
Toronto cut. I mean, Toronto. They drafted Paul Rothrock and Griffin Dorsey. Cut both of them, and they're
Idiots.
starters in other teams.
go. Toronto's
Damn,
tripping.
Toronto
Huh?
sucks, man.
Well, good
All right.
thing,
Even the year before, Jack Maher starts for Nashville. Dylan Neal start. Oh, was he the one who scored the goal in MLS Cup
Yeah.
the other day?
It was one of the Nealis
It
brothers.
was one of the Niels brothers. Henry Kessler, Daryl DK, Reiner Poso. These are all
Mhm.
starting guys. Miguel Berry just won MLS Cup as the backup. Alistair Johnson, he's a high-end starter in Europe in the Champions League.
I think we should be advisors, or not me, but y'all. Y'all should be advisors for Pat Onstad and the whole draft stuff.
Pat Asher, if you need us,
I mean, I
Hit
guess
us
we would
up.
have to watch.
Well, Jay,
more-
that's
well, I don't
that's
know
a
if y'all
good
watch
segue
college,
because
but-
we're hoping that before the draft we get to chat with Asher and maybe get a kind of state of a union of what this offseason is looking like and getting a
stay
little bit more
tuned for
insight.
that.
So I'm gonna throw it out there. It's in the air. Hopefully we make it happen
pressure.
sometime next week. So hopefully we get to sit down and chit chat. Joey, I know we promised you 45 minutes, man.
That was a good rant, though.
That's a good one.
You convinced me otherwise.
Yeah. No, I yeah. There's
Needed a
there's
good
lot of
Joey rant.
positive stuff.
late in the show, get the people fired up.
Late in the year.
No, though, I seriously, I saw that post from Bogert, and my jaw dropped when I saw that.
It's funny.
Chris and I would probably be back recording the week of Christmas, maybe if it's possible. We'll see. But now I know Dustin and Joey tend to always be busy, man. I mean, you guys are the ones that people come and see and listen to all the
I
time.
know the people want me and Joey. I'm gonna try to be on more shows if Christian and Rudy will let me.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
Let's pickleball.
Yeah.
Let's.
Let's
I don't know
pickleball.
about that. I wanted. I need
New
to
Year's
play with,
resolution: pickleball every day.
I know Barb and some of the Dash players play a lot of pickleball. So if y'all want like a BCS versus Dash,
We may have to do a
Y'all want the
constant, man.
smoke?
Edgar, I know you're listening. Set it up.
Yeah, bro. Set it up.
Well, I feel ashamed because I wanted to end this with more or less asking, or what you guys would ask Santa for Christmas, and I just noticed that my dyslexia wrote it wrong. It says, "What will you ask Santa for Christmas?" So in my head, I was gonna write, "What are we asking Santa for Christmas?" And
Yeah.
then I was like, "No, we're gonna write, what are you
Number
asking?"
one.
So I just left out the R, the
Number one.
entire R.
Full ESL.
Full ESL, man. I had to keep it real, man. Gotta sometimes you have to just humble yourself a little bit, right? I feel like the slides were good. If you guys like them, let us know. Whenever you guys watch or watch on YouTube or listen. If you're listening, we have slides for you, so you can always feel free to go back into YouTube and check it out in our channel. So you can watch the slides that you missed, and you can make fun of me not spelling things right. So I guess there is a guy that someone just called Ted. Was it Ted Lasso's cousin being Tom
was funny.
Bogert, and a few other interesting people from MLS like Doyle, but they are picking the Dynamo to be a dark horse for next year, right? I mean, this early on, they're already kind of giving them some props, and I mean, I think it's well earned props for sure. However, they're talking about bringing in number 10, and I know that's something that we've talked enough here. Talking about horses, we beat that horse to death here about which type of player you're gonna bring. But Dustin, we'll start with you.
Oh God.
What are you asking? And you can do both. You can do the dash only. You can do the dynamo. What are we asking?
For the dynamo, I'm asking Santa that Aliu and Bassi get respect that they deserve.
Right.
No. I mean, for the dynamo, I think, like, honestly, I think they're fine with replacing Herrera, whether that be Coco, Kowalczyk, something. I think they need to get a goalkeeper and get it right. Like, I think Tarbell is fine. He's a starter, but if Santa wants to put something in the Dynamo stocking, it would be a nice 6'5" goalkeeper or something.
I heard Marco Maric is available.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, yes.
I know the Keylor Navas stuff keeps coming up, and his agent apparently says he's interested in MLS, but I'll pass.
Hey, if he can play and he can save penalties, I'm okay with that. That's right now. That's currently like the number one, thing on my checklist when it comes to goalkeeper. If he can save 1 out of 5, 1 out of 6, give me a higher percentage just in case.
For the dash, a coach sometime before the season starts.
Probably be useful, huh?
I mean, they've mentioned that it was going to be since October or something like that for the general manager.
Yeah. And then today they talked about getting a coach in place before preseason starts. So they might be looking at another month or so.
So say we're going to get another offseason of signing players that a coming coach doesn't want.
Basically.
Yep.
Third year in a row.
So this is what's going to happen with the dash. And then maybe we should stop ranting so we can end soon. But it's a vicious circle, right? They're going to bring players. The players are not going to be what the coach wants. The coach is going to want other players. They're going to fire the coach because nothing's going well, and so forth and so forth. At this point, it's just not looking all that great. Joey, what would you be asking Santa? Do you believe in Santa? Maybe that's the question.
I do. For the dash, let's see. I want Barb playing all the minutes.
There you go.
Play every minute this season. Get her and Avery on the field every single chance they possibly could get. That's what I want from a coach, someone who wants to do that. And for the Dynamo, man, get me a DP. Give me another DP striker from Paraguay, please. Let's get a DP that can either play the 10 or play the right midfield spot. Either or. If it's a 10, it pushes Bossy out there, fine. If it's a right midfielder and keeps Bossy in the middle, that's also fine. I'm fine with either or. DP in that spot, and we're good.
I saw that Dago put he wants Wesley Riviera. I had to look who that is. It's a Brazilian guy from Internacional. If we know Brazilians, they're a little pricey sometimes. So I don't know they have that much money. The Argentina was already pretty expensive, Chris. $8 million for Ponce. But what are you asking for Christmas or for Santa?
I'm gonna keep it kind of light. I want a really nice jersey next year. just a really good design.
New home jersey, right? So
$200.
Yeah. Well, I don't. You're asking for too much. Maybe a discount. Discount. But I don't know. Maybe something. I don't know. Throw in baby blue in there. I don't know. Do something crazy, but don't go too crazy. Don't go too into the fringe type thing. But let's get something nice going. A nice little jersey. Bring the nice orange. I mean, the last one was pretty nice, but
purple or the home.
The home.
I like the purple one a lot.
The purple was nice. I mean,
yeah, I'm not buying them ever again at the price though. It's not happening.
Yeah, it's tough. It's rough. No. And for the dash, I really don't know.
A lot of things.
I wanna go to more games. So I guess maybe
More Argentines.
more.
Good ones,
Argentines.
though. Good ones.
Good. One that actually play, maybe.
Man.
We'll see.
Yeah, I think we were like, let's just ask for some silverware. Santa, bring some silverware.
I was gonna say a cup, but maybe a
Yeah.
playoff match.
I mean, there's
Let
gonna
us
be
start
so
slow.
many things. I mean, I don't know if Leagues Cup is happening, but if US Open Cup is happening, Leagues Cup, obviously you have the US Open Cup you're fighting for. No way they're winning the Shield. If they win the Shield, I'm getting a face tattoo. If they win some sort of Shield,
Wow.
You heard it, folks.
You heard it here. What? Okay.
I
What
didn't
are
say
you
permanent.
What? What would you get?
I
Would
don't
you
know.
get it? Would you get it like a
Bossy's
kinda
face.
like tier?
Like,
You have to
Yeah,
get a number
Bossy
8.
stats, accuracy.
You have to get PP like progressive passes.
Oh, yeah, there you go. 1,000%.
There you go.
And yeah, for the Dash, man, let's just get us a coach. That's it. I mean, keep it simple there for sure. Just get a
Yeah.
coach. But
let's do the simple things first.
One that lasts for a year or more.
oh man, guys. Well, I don't know what happened, but there's a glitch. It said it looks like we're going in and out of X for some reason. I think
Elon Musk.
yeah, Musk is kicking us out, man. But hey, it's been great conversation with you guys. I think it's been a fantastic episode. Again, we may see you guys depending what the news look like. Like I said, if we do happen to talk to Asher, you'll see an episode coming up. And if you don't, then you probably see us in 2 weeks if that is the case. But for sure, man, if we don't talk to you, we don't see you, obviously enjoy the holidays with your family and friends. And I just put this graphic because I thought it was pretty badass up here. So guys, anything else you guys want to say? Joey, Dustin,
No.
Chris?
Nah, FIFA World Cup next year. Oh, not the World Cup, but the Club World Cup. So I'm excited.
Gold
But
Cup
other
final
than
in
that,
Houston.
Gold Cup
Hey,
final in Houston.
for real,
US
there's
women's
gonna be a
national team at Shell. It's gonna be 2025 is gonna be
bro.
big.
We're blowing up in 2025 soccer wise. There's gonna be a lot of soccer, man. So
Yeah.
stay tuned. Stay tuned to BayouCitySoccer.net. Go check it out. Social media, Bayou City Soccer. Check out the YouTube channel, Instagram, X, Blue Sky. What else? Facebook, everything. And if the Chinese let us, we'll get a TikTok too.
That's what's it called? I was gonna do. Let me see. Okay. Yeah. No. Thanks everybody for joining us. You guys know exactly where to find us, as Christian mentions, and obviously check BayouCitySoccer.net. And with that, we'll just keep this image of our friend Joey. Joey. Sorry, not Joey. Billy up here.
Not yet.
Yeah, in
Billy
his memory as we close it out. But guys, thanks again, and don't forget to hold it down and keep it forever orange.